But anyway, I promise you guys, I do have a take where you can share me if you'd like, because I was wrong about something. And I'll confess fully, I was dead ass wrong. I told you guys yesterday that I wasn't that worried about Jared Goff versus Brian Flores because they played the Dolphins last year. Brian Flores was not with the Dolphins last year. He was not a part of that. So that shootout that took part there, Brian Flores was not a part of that. And so I went back and I found the numbers of Jared Goff versus Brian Flores. They weren't pretty. And here they are right here. Shout out to Chris for putting this on the screen. This is the last time. They've played him twice now. Once was in the Super Bowl, which you guys know what that situation was. It was a game manager mid-off. And I'm just kidding. All due respect to Tom Brady. But nothing came out of that one. But here
that was the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen.
Yes, absolutely the worst Super Bowl I've ever seen. 2020, it was with the Rams. 13 blitzes. As you know, that's like a narrative behind Goff. It's like he doesn't do well with the blitz. Well, he was blitzed 13 times. He was sacked twice. Fumbled on each of those sacks. Had 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown, and then 57% completion.
That's terrible.
That is not good. And then you also go back to the other situation, Brian Flores versus Jared Goff. That's a Super Bowl, as you said, the worst one ever. Not a single touchdown in that thing. It was not pretty. Brian Flores is coming in here. I'm not coming in here. I'm sorry. We're going there to face a top 10 defense in scoring. Top 10 defense against the run. I was wrong, bro. I made myself a little bit nervous. And I brought it up a little bit earlier. I think we're like the Midwest 49ers, the way we're able to run the ball. Our defense was looking good at a certain point in the season. That part's gone. I'll erase that part of the narrative. But the offensive side of it.
I mean, the defense looked good against the Broncos.
Yeah, but the Broncos have a good offense.
We're going up against a third-string quarterback. No excuses.
Yeah, no excuse for the defense for damn sure. But my comparisons, though, to the 49ers, the Vikings played the 49ers this year. Mm-hmm. They won. It was like 17-20 or 17-22. But in that game, Christian McCaffrey, his run was limited, just 45 yards. His 1 touchdown. Brock Purdy, I think, had a touchdown as well, but then 2 interceptions, sack and a fumble.
I believe that was a game with no Trent Williams, no Deebo Samuel as well. So that's definitely something you have to take into account when you're missing the best offensive lineman in the NFL and a very good wide receiver. It's definitely going to hurt. But this isn't a game where the Lions can take this lightly. Like I want them to go out there and dominate. They should go out there and dominate. But Brian Flores is a very good defensive mind. He got blackballed in Miami because he said, I'm not tanking even though you want me to. But he should be a head coach in the NFL. He should be a head coach in the NFL. But he's not. He's a defensive coordinator. And he's a very good defensive coordinator. He is going to do things to make Goff uncomfortable. He is going to send blitzes, send pressures, play the game to make Goff uncomfortable. We saw the last time a defensive coordinator did that. That was in Chicago. Didn't turn out too well. You clog up the middle of the field. You make him throw the ball to the outside and down the field. And it's not going to happen, or it's not going to work out too well. That was outside. This is in a dome, so it'll be a little bit easier for him. And Goff showed in a dome he can throw the ball to the outside. He can do it down the field because that's what he's doing against Denver. He hit a lot of those out-breaking routes, those 10-yard outs, 5-yard outs, strong arm throws, which, it's 40 yards in the air when you're going all the way to the sideline and 10 yards down the field. So he's going to have to repeat that performance he had against Denver where he's hitting these sideline outs, where he's hitting guys down the field, because that is what a lot of teams are going to focus on how to stop Goff. It is going to be, we need this guy to not go to the middle of the field. We need to make sure Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown are bracketed so he can't go to his 2 security blankets. We're going to have to force him to hit Jameson Williams, to hit to hit Josh Reynolds, to hit someone else on these outwards breaking routes. So we'll see if he can do that. I have faith that he'll be able to do it because there's not going to be any wind or rain or any weather factors. It's in a dome. He should be able to go out there and execute like he did against Denver.
For me, it's definitely it's a total up in the air question mark type of situation for me. I will say this: I don't think that outside of Harrison Smith, I know they got a couple other safeties, Lewis Cine, but in the middle of the field, I don't think they have as much talent as you would look at as the Chicago Bears that we've seen. And again, that game was outdoors as well too. But I will say this: obviously, the narrative of Jared Goff against the blitz isn't the best as of recently, especially up until I think last week. It was 0.6 under pressure rating he had. Not the greatest. But I will say this in terms of what Spinney is saying to give you guys a little bit of glimpse of hope. Because by the way, the Vikings, as much as Jared Goff didn't do well under the blitz, or that's the narrative at least, They blitz the most in the league. Like, by far, have the most blitzes in the league. Jared Goff, Detroit Lions, he actually has the most touchdowns in the league against the blitz. And then you have the Vikings who have let up the most touchdowns against the blitz, but also makes sense if they're blitzing the most. They have the most touchdowns let up against them. And the Vikings are allowing a 71.8% completion rating on those blitzes.
And Peaceful Tim puts it in the chat, what we've been saying for the past 5 weeks. Run the ball.
Yes.
Run the damn ball.
Yep.
The best way to beat the blitz is to run the ball. When you have these guys getting up the field, you have these pass rushers, you have a Daniil Hunter who's got 15 and a half sacks, 5 yards in the backfield, run the ball behind him. Get those lanes of these pass rushers trying to get deep. Use your great talents in Jahmyr Gibbs, in David Montgomery to get up the seams, get down the field, and get plays on the ground. On top of that, you have great yards after catch guys. Do some blitz breakers. Do some pop screens. Do some jailbreak screens. Get the ball in the hands of a Jameson Williams, of a Khalif Raymond, of a Jahmyr Gibbs, of a Sam Laporta behind the line of scrimmage, and let them do the work. So there are a lot of things you can do to beat the blitz of the Minnesota Vikings. Run the ball is the first and foremost thing they should be focusing on. Number 2, get the ball out of your hands fast to one of your deadly playmakers with space, with blockers in front of him. Let him do the rest.
Yeah, we're kind of spilling into our keys to the game with this one, but I'm going to join in too. I mean, we're already kind of like putting the cards on the table. Along with you, I also was looking up some numbers, Minnesota Vikings, because I look at that run defense, right? Top 5, I believe it was.
Yeah.
I think it is 5th in the league at run defense. You guys know me. I'm a big context guy. You give me numbers all you want, but I'm going to go find the context of numbers to see if they're legitimate. They faced bottom half rushing teams all the way through, aside from obviously the Chicago Bears, who got them pretty good for like 99 yards. Not so great the second time around. And then you also got the situation with the 49ers, though, a top team. Only allowed Christian McCaffrey 45 yards. But either way, the narrative around the top 5, the context of the narrative, they're not playing the best rushing teams. Detroit Lions, top 3 team in every single rushing category there is to have. And I think we'll be able to run the ball, so I'm with you on that one. For damn sure, run the ball.
I'll tell you what,
because you can't draw up and get exotic and all sexy with these blitz packages if you got to stop the run. That's first and foremost. You have to earn the right to rush the quarterback. And then I got to say one other thing too, because I was talking about the running back stats. Running backs, as I was looking at their numbers against the Minnesota Vikings, they also do really, really well in the passing game. And I think that's, again, because of those blitz. Because when you're getting blitz like that, where do you go quick to your drop-off?
Yeah.
And usually it's going to be like you're running back in a flat in that situation. Who do we have?
Jahmyr Gibbs.
So if he's the hands have been kind of shaky throughout the season, but if he's catching those balls, and obviously we know he's prone to make a man miss, it can get real nasty real quick.
I'll tell you what, I'm stamping it right now. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a 20-plus yard touchdown on a draw play. It's going to be a halfback draw. They're going to drop back. Goff's going to do his 3-5-step drop. Let the defensive line get up the field, try to rush the passer, put the ball in Jahmyr's gut. He's going to take off, and he's going to score a touchdown. Hey, yo, for sure.
I got some, actually, fun fact. They haven't allowed a single 20-yard rush all season.
Who?
Minnesota Vikings.
Well, you better learn, because shit's coming.
Hey, we got the most.
The electrician's coming for you, baby.
The electrician's
coming.
The mongoose. Don't let him get spawned.
Steve Jackson or whatever it was.
The J Train. I think that was my favorite one. Yeah, they haven't let up a 20-yard run all season. But we have the guy who has literally the most 20-yard runs as an individual. I think we have the second most as a team. The Dolphins have us beat for 20-yard runs as a complete team, but we have the individual with the most of them. That's Jahmyr Gibbs. And you guys know why, too. Just as Benny said, a little draw play, a little bit of zone in that situation. He got enough space for him to make a move. That's what he does.
Yeah.
And you talk about the middle of the field. Like, again, they don't – Ivan Pace is the guy they have as like their linebacker, their stud linebacker this year.
He's questionable.
Undrafted. Shout out to, remember Steve used to be in the chat all the time? He called in specifically, talked about Ivan Pace.
Yeah.
Number 0 at Cincinnati. But he's undersized. That's why he fell in the draft. They use him more in those like blitzes, exotics type of shit. I don't think we're going to allow that. I think we're going to go out there and we're going to play some bully ball. At least that's how I want to do it. Dan Campbell was talking about let him loose, but I think that's a little bit more of a
line it up.
trick.
NFC North football, hat on hat. Run the ball down their throat. You have the better offensive line. You have the better running game.
Yes, sir.
You have the best running back combination in the NFL. You have the best offensive line in the NFL when healthy. Go out there, enforce your will on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes. Nick, you want in on this?
Yeah, that's where I'm right there with Spencer. You have to be able to control the run game in this ball game, or we are gonna. We're not gonna win this game if we don't run the ball. Basically, is where I'm at with it. I trust in Jared Goff and play action down the field. I think he's going to have to make a few big throws. NFC North division winning throws in this game on the road in Minnesota. I think he gets the job done because we will be able to run the ball. They're going to fall for play action, and we are going to hit guys like St. Brown. Even J-Mo gets more involved, and Laporta down the field to see the Lions win the first division since 1993.
Baby.
Let's go.
King Horse in the Woodward Sports Chat. He says, out Byron Murphy and Jalen Naylor. Questionable, Jonathan Bullard, Jordan Hicks, Alexander Madison, Brian O'Neill, Ivan Pace Jr., and Harrison. Those are some big names.
Harrison Smith?
Yeah. Those are some big names. If Madison, Pace, and Harrison Smith can't play, it's going to be devastation. But I assume they're going to play because their season's on the line.